How do you help veterans find their voice and tell their story? How do you help leaders defeat Islamist violent extremists? How do you teach and train corporate leaders how to build relationships and trust each other? These are the torches that I have to pursue every day of my life, and what I try to tackle in my life, all pretty big purpose-based goals. And there's no easy answers to that. The same way that there's no easy answers to the questions that you have in your life, to the deep work that you have to do, to the impact that you're trying to achieve, whether that's building your business to add more value to the world, whether that's trying to promote more harmony at your workplace, whether that's your own nonprofit effort, or just build a stronger family, right? Rooftop leaders are always doing work that is bigger than themselves and leaving their tracks in this world. My dad defines tracks as those indelible impressions that serve not those around us, but the people who follow us, right? Impact, purpose-based leadership, and inspiring people to help you do that in a movement, not because they have to, but because they choose to. That's what I learned how to do as a Green Beret, and it's what I teach now. So in 2018, what we're working on is how do you do that, right? If you're trying to grow your business, if you're trying to bring more stability to your workplace, whatever your bigger than you task is and the tracks you want to leave, how do you do that? What's the process for it? And I'm sharing with you every time we do these video blogs, real content that can help you do that. Now, in January, to kick off the year, we talked about mindset, which is obviously essential for leaving tracks. Now, in February, we're kicking off a different approach. We're going to really get into the work, right? What I like to call deep work for deep tracks. This stuff is not easy. There is no quick fix. There's no formula that's going to get you there overnight. It's an affinity for the grind. Rooftop leaders, pros, people who really get things done, who are high performers, they have a different relationship to the work than amateurs do. They understand that they've got to roll their sleeves up and they've got to grind. And they also understand that the joy is in the work, that the real beauty in all of this is in the deep work that you do. So for this month, February, deep work for deep tracks is going to be our monthly theme. And I can tell you that deep work, the way I define that is any action you take, right? Any action you, as a rooftop leader, take to work on your mind, your body, your spirit, your craft, that makes you a better rooftop leader, that makes you the most relevant person in the room, who people want to follow because they choose to, not because they have to, right? Who goes after problems bigger than themselves and leads people to action in that way, right? So that anything you do to help you do that better is what I consider, deep work. Now, for example, I always have a fire for you guys on my video blogs. Now, you may be sitting here thinking, man, that's a pretty small fire there, Scott. What the heck's going on, man? But I'd like to point out, it just stopped raining, right? So Wes and I got this fire going for you because I'm always doing deep work on my craft. I'm always working on my field craft. I'm always working on the skill sets that I need to be relevant, right? So what I want to ask of you is to be thinking about what is the deep work that really pertains, right, to the tracks you want to leave. And that's what we're going to get after. Now, each week there's a theme, right? So this week, our theme to feed into that deep work for deep tracks is turning your why into rocket fuel, right? Rocket fuel for that deep work. Because at the end of the day, you could have the best plan in the world, you could have a great outline of what you're going to do, but that commitment has to translate. That work that you did last month, it's got to translate into rocket fuel, into the why has to drive your action, right? Humans are emotional creatures, and the odds are if you bump up against resistance or some friction or inertia on your path to leaving tracks, if you don't translate your why into rocket fuel, you'll punt, or resistance will find a way to talk you out of this thing that you're trying to do that is your higher self. I'm just telling you because it happens to me all the time. So I just want to review, for starters, the power of purpose, the power of your why. We're meaning-seeking creatures, right? So our quest for why like, you know, the quote goes, the most important day of a person's life is the day they're born and the day they figure out why. Well, we never stop looking for that. We never stop reminding ourselves of our why, of our purpose. And I really encourage you, if you haven't done the tracks exercise, go back and look at my posts, do that exercise and get really clear on your tracks and understand that when you know what your why is, it's a compelling thing to other people. They want to follow you because you have clarity. And humans, as Donald Miller says, are drawn to clarity. We crave clarity, especially in this complex, ambiguous world. So for starters, foot stomp here, if you want to be a relevant rooftop leader, how clear are you on what your purpose is, on your why? Keep working that. That never stops as we get into execution. For example, my tracks. I want to defeat violent extremism. I want to restore rooftop servant-based leadership to America and the world. And I want to help our warriors find their voice and tell their story as they come home. That's my clarity. That's my focus. That's what and I'm aligned on that pretty much every day. I'm asking you to pursue that same type of clarity. What's yours? What are your tracks? What's your why, right? And can you say it in a sentence or two? Because when you can, that's when you've really got clarity that will drive you. Who am I? Why am I here? What does my tribe need from me? Those are three great questions to ask yourself, and that quest for clarity never stops. Now, as far as translating it into action, I use a storyboard, or vision board. I'm a big believer on these. They've done studies on these things, and they've shown that for your kids or you, when you can see your dream, it starts to manifest into reality, right? Your imagination, humans are really the only ones with a true imagination. Your imagination starts to formulate pictures in your brain that drives action, and it becomes a reality. So this is a vision board. My friend Terry Walker builds these, and we'll put the website up for it. You can do a big vision board. This is my traveling vision board. But this is what I hang. Every time I go to a motel room, I hang this on the corner of my television. I look at it in the morning. I look at it in the evening, right? When I'm writing, I look at it. It's a picture of a microphone. It's a picture of Monty and me on our wedding day, reminding me that she's my partner for life. It's a picture of me speaking there. It's kind of folded up right now. It's a picture of my rooftop logo, and it's a picture of guys that I'm chasing who I want to be better than them. Bo Eason, Tony Robbins, right? Jocko, right? These are people that I'm chasing that I want to be better than. It's a picture of the theater where I want my play to be shown one day in New York, right? This is my vision board, and it's not hard to create. And I'm telling you, as you hang this thing where you can see it and you look at that thing, it starts to translate into your body. So this right here is a best practice that you can take on to put your dreams into your why and make it rocket fuel. Another thing I want to share for you is that once you start to get clear on what your dream is, it needs to translate into a vision. At some point, you need to be able to articulate to us what it is that you're building. What are you doing, right? And then help me build it, right? Oxford Analytica has done studies where they've shown that great leaders from Alexander the Great to, Ronald Reagan, JFK, two things in common: vision and the personal stories to share that vision that move people to action. So as you translate your why into rocket fuel, one of the things is being able to communicate your why to other people so that they want to swing hammers and help you build it. That's an instrumental thing to a rooftop leader, and it's what sets you apart from everybody else. Most of the amateur leaders, the ones that have the microphone today, they'll tell you what they're doing and then they'll tell you to do it, right? But it's got to be shared vision. It's got to be shared why, shared purpose, and that's a very special skill. So working on that in this part is really important, right? And getting the people in your life who are relevant on board to want to help you build it. The next thing I'll tell you that's a secret, now this one is really, it's secret sauce. Almost no one does this. I'm amazed at the number of people that don't do this. But when you approach your deep work, think of yourself as a vessel. Stop taking yourself so damn seriously, right? Because, there's no reason to. Every time we take ourselves too serious, we get in our own head, and guess what happens? We get clouded up, we get jammed up, and people can't connect to us because we don't look like we trust ourselves, so people don't trust us. I encourage you to just think of yourself as a vessel. Think of yourself as an instrument that is serving a higher purpose, and you're just here to do that work, right? That keeps you from getting inside your head, and it keeps you out here connecting where you need to be. Every time before I go on the stage, I say a prayer to just say, please let me just be a vessel or an instrument instrument for your work, right? And I say that every morning when I do my meditations. It's important. And I need that mindset, that heart set, where I really think of myself as a vessel. And guaranteed, whenever I get off the path and I'm jamming stuff up or I'm screwing something up, it's because I'm thinking of myself too seriously and I've made it about me instead of being an instrument. The last thing I'll say is, you got to believe you can punch above your weight, right? As you take on these big things that are bigger than you, the belief that you can fight outside of your weight class, that you can do something bigger than you are, you have to believe that. You may not know the answers, you may not know what it looks like, but in your heart, I need you to believe that. When you train, when you do your physical training, when you get up in the morning, when you meditate, when you pray, when you journal, I need you believing that you can punch above your weight. If you need to, go see 12 Strong. You want to see 12 dudes that punched above their weight? There you go, right? And I've seen this over and over again with Green Berets and other special ops leaders, this willingness to punch above their weight, and it works, right? So get there, get in that place mentally. And this will all be fuel for the journey, because remember, when you're doing this kind of work, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's not an overnight success. It's not episodic. Success is incremental, and success is found in the grind. It's found in the deep work. You're not entitled to your labor or the fruits of your labor. We're only entitled to our labor, right? So my call to action to you right now, as my fire dwindles and I'm gonna have to get in here and do some emergency resuscitation, is the first thing is I want you to visualize your why. Find a way to visualize your purpose, your why. A vision board is a great way to do it. But find some way, post it up on your mirror, write it out, whatever works for you, but you need to be able to see it every day. And then I want you to bring it into your day, bring it into your regimen, bring it into your rituals, right? You can keep the details close hold, but you should share with us and the world what you're building. We need your best stuff. This phase is critical. This is where we're moving dreams into execution. This separates pros from amateurs. Get out of the bleachers and into the arena. It's scary, but I'm telling you, if you'll follow these steps right here, it'll happen. You'll look around and pretty soon you'll be surrounded by people you respect and a life you don't have to take a vacation from. Until next time, this is Scott Mann, and don't forget to follow me on on Instagram at rooftop_leader, official Scott Mann on Facebook, at real Scott Mann on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to our video that comes out every week on rooftopleadership.com. What else, Wes? Did I miss anything?
No, sounds good.
All right. See you on the rooftop.